thinking about you in the morning when I wake up. Good morning text, but we still lay up. I'm thinking about you in the night, or you stay up with a nigga on the phone just to make up. I'm thinking about you in the evening when I make lunch. Peanut butter jelly, wretched when I feel my belly. I'm thinking about you, I'm conflicted with my player ways. Don't catch no feelings for me, baby, cause I'm player made.
What's good? I'm the Antidote. I'm not an MC. I'm the medical master of ceremonies. First piece of merchandise that I'm going to talk about is my ATG Against the Grain crew neck sweater. ATG is an independent record label that I've started or am trying to start. And pretty much it's just a symbol of being yourself, not really caring what other people think about you. Cause I think of myself as a rebel. I don't really like going with the rules or people telling me what to do. So I came up with Against the Grain and I made it into a record label. And I want other people to be motivated by it, to just do your own thing. You don't gotta fit in. People don't have to like you. If you weird, you weird. If you corny, you corny. Just go against the grain. Second piece of merchandise is my Antidote, the logo shirt that I got. And I'm not a MC. I'm the medical master of ceremonies because I'm the Antidote. So I got the name The Antidote by a classmate. We was in class one day and I was talking to him and I wanted to drop a mixtape called The Antidote. And I still didn't have a rap name yet. So he was like, why don't you call yourself The Antidote? But then I came to terms with liking The Antidote myself because I do see myself as a cure and I have like a healing aura towards people. So growing up, I've been around hip hop all my life. My mom was pretty much the first person that introduced me to hip hop. She introduced me to rappers such as Domino, Skilo, rappers that most teenagers or people my age wouldn't know about. She also introduced me to good R&B music. People such as the Mary Jane Girls, The Whispers, Marvin Gaye. My brother, he also had an influence on my music. He introduced me to like Dipset, InDaCityKids, that era of music. And then my sister, she also had an influence on my, choice of music or my rapping as well. She introduced me to like 3 6 Mafia, Pimp C, and also R&B music such as Donnell Jones and people of that nature. Alright, so I pretty much started rapping through poetry. I wrote poems before I actually wrote rhymes. So I would write my poems, and then I started putting those poems on beats. So growing up, we didn't have no instrumentals, no pretty much laptop, Wi-Fi, none of that. So my brother, he had a stereo or a little system, and he would just play an instrumental to a beat, and I would rap over it, freestyle over it in the kitchen. And everybody was like, oh man, she can rhyme, this and that. So that's pretty much how I started rapping. So the first project that I put out was called the Unplanned EP. I put the Unplanned EP out when I was like in 9th grade in high school. So the Unplanned EP is exactly what the name says. It was an unplanned EP that I had put out, pretty much remixes on top of songs. So then the second EP that I put out was called Third Base. Now Third Base was a different type of project. Third Base was actually 3 diss songs that I had dropped to certain people when I was in a certain time period of my life while I was being petty. Next project that I put out was called the Finesse Tape. Finesse Tape again is pretty much just remixes. It was remixes of songs that I like or that I was introduced to growing up, such as I did Dipset Anthem, I did a Jadakiss instrumental, pretty much all the music that has influenced me. And then I dropped the Finesse Tape 2. The Finesse Tape 2, it was more so old school music. I did a remix to Lauryn Hill, and then I did a remix to Lil' Kim. So then after Finesse Tape and Finesse Tape 2, I stopped dropping those type of EPs and mixtapes because I want to get away from like remixing everybody's music. So I stepped away from that and I started dropping dope mixes. My name's The Antidote, so I took the last part, dope, and made it mix how everybody do when they do a remix. So I started doing dope mixes of old school songs, new school songs, and all that. And now I'm working on a new project soon that's coming out, a mixtape with original beats instead, to try to get my sound out there. So before I was a rapper or MC, I was also a writer and also a person of literature. So all throughout high school, middle school, my whole academic career, I've always liked literature. Therefore, I like to relate that to my rhyming or, me liking my craft of music. So one of my favorite books is The 48 Laws of Power. I've always wanted this book. I picked it up from Barnes & Noble, ended up reading it. Haven't got through all of it because this is one of the books you have to study. So all of the 48 Laws of Power in there, I like to apply to my own life and people in general because it pretty much teaches you how to handle people in situations. So I also apply that to my music and my personal life. And my second most powerful book that I like to read is Pimpology. This book is kind of controversial because of how people view it, but I like the philosophy behind it and sort of how the perspective and mindset that it gives you about handling people in situations as well. And then the third most powerful book, which is personal to me, would be my Red Rhyme book. So my red rhyme book is exactly what I said it is. It's my rhyme book. I have a majority of my rhymes in here, not all of them. This is a new rhyme book, but this is pretty much where I write all my rhymes down. I write rhymes physically and I also type it in my phone. I think both methods work well because sometimes you lose information in your phone. Therefore, it's also good to have pen and paper. And pen and paper also gives you a more authentic feeling, which is why I prefer it sometimes over typing in my phone. Alright, some of my personal influences and albums that I bought. I got the Outkast, the Gemini. I personally like Andre 3000 because of his wordplay and how he stands out. Alright, definitely like Tupac. Everybody loves Tupac, but he reminds me of being a rebel, which kind of goes with Against the Grain that I mentioned before. You know what I'm saying? He was passionate about his craft and really outspoken about it, but he was also real, so I definitely like Tupac. Nas, definitely like him. His wordplay, how he was also educational as well. And then currently, Nipsey Hussle. I like his new project, Victory Lap. His entrepreneurial movements and how he does things and his marketing strategies, stuff like that. And Aaliyah, I love all of her music. And I specifically like her because she was tomboyish and girly, which kind of reminds me of myself. She was able to kind of mix the two, and people still could understand her personality and things of that nature. So I definitely love her and her music. And then lastly, I love Eve because, you know, she represents not my hometown specifically, but represents where I come from. I have family in Philadelphia, but I'm from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Lancaster, however you want to say it. So I definitely like Eve and how she influenced the rap game and opened doors for female rappers and rappers in general. So like I said before, I'm from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, Lancaster, whatever you want to call it. That was definitely my spot of humble beginnings. So no matter how many brown paper bags I talk about, no matter how much polo I rap about or anything materialistic, I'm always going to be eating top ramen noodles, and I'm always going to have my cranberry juice, because I'm a humble person no matter what I talk about. And piece of advice I would give to people is to always be real and be true to yourself. Never conform or never make somebody feel like you're less of yourself, and never look for validation from anybody else. You know what I'm saying? You don't owe anybody explanation of anything you do, and you don't have to talk to people. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. Always be true to yourself and always work hard and do what you gotta do. Go against the grain.
I be on that other shit, steady ducking sucker shit.
The hat is not really in there. The main thing is in there. No. Keep the hat on.
My head forehead's too big. That's why you.
Nah, it ain't that. Your hair messed up. But it don't matter, huh?
My hair is done. All I gotta do is straighten that shit up.
No, the whole thing through there.
What do you mean?
Yeah, you ready?
I'm practicing real quick. Shout out to 4Teen40 and InDaCityKids. My name is Antidote. I don't know what to say to that.
Nah. Good blooper.
Talk again. Oh, we recording now? Alright. Say on the count of 3, nigga.
1, 2, 3.
I'm gonna say it again. I'm the Antidote. I'm gonna do the things first. I gotta get it out of the way. I can't do it.
Let me delete. How do you get your rap name?
I said that in the merchandise. And then the next project that I put out was, I don't know what my next project is. Justice.
You ready? You good? Don't be nervous, Kaya. You good? It's going.
Alright. And do what you gotta do. Go against the grain. I'm sorry.
Preaching. Never talk shit, just practice your preaching. I recommend a pastor a dick and you thinking you know me. You niggas is phony, I'm still down to earth, but you niggas below me. I'm from the gutter, eat bread and bologna. I'm from up top, keep my Timberlands on me. Live the street life like a tenement on me. Dead president, you can smell the sin on me. Walking around like I got the ring on me. 10 in the face like my name is